getting tired of all the well-meaning advice and all the things of the world that really can hiccup me. So I've been trying to, take off the, simplify. So I want something that's simple, I can move forward with, that's tailored for me.
It sounds like you've gotten a ton of advice already, and maybe there's like a sense of overwhelm.
There is a sense of over. Well, yes, yes and no. I've come into doing what I'm doing out of no background in business, no, it's God said one thing, so I'm trying to make that work, and then there's this whole wealth of business advice, and it's wonderful. And I've had a couple of short-term coaches to assist me and everything. And then I learn more about myself and think, oh, hang on, I need a big picture. What does a coach do for me? How am I supposed to work with a coach? And then yeah, overwhelmed, scared. I'm and undisciplined. So they're the things that are happening right now for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You're scared of what?
I'm not quite sure. There's an overwhelm and a scare. Like recently, the Lord gave me the Lord talks with me and inspires me with ideas. So in an idea He gave me towards my project, which I'll end up telling you about, He said, do this, 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 and this. And I went, right. And I did this, 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 this. And I put it out in the world, and it got rejected immediately. And I was surprised myself that I fell flat. I just went, oh, no, and I went into that, I can't even get my product out there. I can't, it's not working. And then I got angry with God, and I was angry with myself. And then I'm like, far out, I haven't even noticed that about myself, and it's taken weeks to get, okay, let's just realizing, I have to expect rejection. I have to expect it, like this. There's a practicality to doing this, and so I'm like, I get that now, but I'm clawing my way back up. Okay, how do I do this? What am I to do? How am I supposed to say? God can't manipulate people. So I've been asking him, how can I best put my product in front of my ideal client, in a way that's unassuming, that's what of service, and yet says what it needs to say without a whole lot of words. And so my head is constantly thinking about it, and then there's this fear that it's not going to be taken, and that fights against the image I see of it going worldwide. Ugh, crikey. Whew. So, and I've only realised over the short few weeks that I'm still afraid of it. Afraid of the rejection of it, I think, only because also I'm in that place of my business has come to a point that I've needed to get financial support, because I've got no clients at the moment.
We'll definitely talk about your business in a little bit.
Yeah, no worries.
You mentioned two things that really kind of stuck out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one, that you've realized over the last couple of weeks that you need to expect rejection, that it's going to happen. You got to go out, you got to keep putting yourself out, and kind of expect that rejection. And then there's also this fear that you're going to get rejected.
Exactly.
The expectation, like, I got to go get rejected, but also that limiting fear that holds you back from even going out to seek that.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like I'm in that transitional period of going, just to take it, just get it out in front of people, and those who don't want it won't want it, but those who do will. So I have that two voices inside of me.
And then on the other hand, there's this desire for it to be accepted.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're seeking that rejection, and it's funny that we seek that rejection yet crave that acceptance.
Yes. I don't know if I'm doing it correctly, but I can only do what's in front of me.
What's it? When you say, I don't know if I'm doing it correctly.
I don't know if I'm, oh, well, okay. It, I guess, meaning, am I doing this right? Am I marketing correctly? Is what I'm saying the right thing? Like I guess it's an entity. Like my business is part of who I am, and I wanted to do it right. I guess effective. Maybe that's the right word I'm looking for. Effectively. I put someone's nose out in my last attempt to market myself, and I felt terrible in doing that. I felt like I'd stepped on toes I didn't know that I was going to step on, with a business that I was trying to market to, and yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the mistakes that you've made so far that have been really impacting this mindset that it's not going to work at the scale that you want it to work.
The mistakes I've made. Let's see. It's a little hard for me to answer, but I feel that there are a personal level. When I first started out doing this, I'm a designer, an illustrator, and the Lord directed me to offer my business services on a volunteer basis for half a working week while I traveled and worked, and I did that. And He told me that He kept me in paying clients, and He did that. And after a couple of years of that, I got tired of it, so I stopped it. And my clientele started getting smaller and smaller, and I don't seem to be doing the things I feel that I need to be doing, and I'll sort of become lackadaisical with it, if that's a word. And I don't have a daily routine, and I've just basically feel like I'm walking into a hole, and yet I have this, I think, this really great business there. Does any of this make sense? I just feel like I'm talking into a circle here.
I think what you're saying is great. And I think you really answered your own question. I want to kind of point it out. You mentioned in the very beginning, God told you, directed you to offer your business services on a volunteer basis.
Yes.
Half a working week while you traveled and worked. And He told you you'd get paying clients, and you did. And you kind of got tired of it. So you stopped,
Yeah.
and you noticed your clientele getting smaller and smaller,
Mhm.
and you don't have any clients right now, and you're in a need of some financial support,
Yes.
but you don't have any routine.
That's right.
Feel like you're doing what you shouldn't be doing, or you're not doing the things you should be doing, and you have a great business, you're just not working it.
That's exactly. I mean, that's it. And I know I've said that to you. And the awareness, the awareness of going back to volunteering has come up this week only. And because I've been thinking, now where did it go off? And that came up for me, and I thought, oh, because and that stemmed from thinking about paring back from all the advice given and the worldly, like the not the worldly but the business, all this business advice, and think, hang on, Lord, how do you want me to conduct our business? That's where I keep coming back. How do you want me to conduct our business? Because in my, there's this whole, if you do all of this, you'll get this much money. And it's like, no, if I pare back, what does God want me to do? And it's like, well, you did say, you processed me over a couple of years. I want you to work for yourself. I'm like, sure, cool. Now I want you to, and I can tell you word for word what he told me. I want you to do this, volunteer while you'll travel. And I'm like, sure. And then I got tired of it. So, and coming back to that, I'm thinking, do I have to turn around again and volunteer myself again? And I acted on it immediately, but I'm still in that wishy-washy land of, okay, what is it?
Well, you know what it is, right? Volunteering or working as God told you as a volunteer basis. And I think you could definitely kind of transition that a little bit and for lack of a better word, optimize it. But you know what God told you to do, and you saw the fruit of it. So is it that you just don't want to do that?
I think in essence, I like the idea of it. I like the idea of serving someone without having, like the budget's not an issue. I have done a little bit of it over time, but it was really important. It's like part of my ethos. It's like, I just want to be able to, I can do all this creative stuff. I'll do that for you. And I had conditions and everything. But at the end of it, I felt really, I worked with a client for a couple of months on site when I was in the States, and they just used me, like it took so much from me. I thought, this is, I need to even have more boundaries to what this looks like. So that kind of wiped me out. And I thought, I've had enough. I think also, it's like, my business has sort of ebbed in different directions since then as well. And I've moved into not so much being a designer for hire, but have a product to sell. And I think it'd be really, like, I'm trying to get that going, and then if that's going, then I can, my heart goes back into, I can volunteer my services. That's not a problem. It's like getting a car cranked up again. It's like, is this working? Am I doing? Is that what I'm supposed to do? I'm questioning myself as I'm talking to you guys. Is this? Because at the moment it's just me thinking. That's what it's been like. Like coming up to the realization, like, is that a thing? Do you want me to do this still? So I haven't, and I wasn't earning a lot of money, and I was still struggling. And so I thought, I really need to get, and the Lord gave me permission. He told me, when I said to him, this volunteering's great, but this is how I feel about it. And can I say no? And he said yes. He said, your business is just as important to me as your volunteering. So they're both aspects of my world. And I felt the importance of growing my business, like, and making my business more solid before I felt like I gave out of my lack. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I didn't have a lot, and I'd give it, and it's like, hang on, I need to build. Like I felt led into building the foundation, because I hadn't built it. I was just like, oh yeah, let's do that. And now I feel like I have a business, and I'm wanting to build it. And so the thoughts recently is, maybe I also need to also come back to the inclusion of volunteering, and that feels right to more right to do.
So is the challenge, I mean, the immediate challenge sounds like, I just need to make some money.
Yeah, that's my focus right now, because that's how. Yeah, that's it now. It's like, okay.
Tell me a little bit about your business.
Okay, so I'm an illustrator with a graphic design background. So I create business-themed greeting cards, and I sell those to businesses. And I also have illustrated 15 children's books, and I have some colouring books that I have published. But my main focus is my greeting cards. So that's about my business. Good grief. I don't know, I'm stumbling over my words at the moment.
That's okay. So your business currently is selling business-themed greeting cards to businesses.
That's right.
You also are an illustrator and a graphic designer, and so naturally you've illustrated and you've created graphics.
Mm-hmm.
You've illustrated 15 children's books and a couple coloring books that you've published, and but your main focus right now is the greeting cards.
That's right, yeah. So I sell them as a bulk situation. So the Lord inspired me to create packages where I create that. So the essence of it is that I wanted to be able to give the very best of what I do without having a client having to pay me for, like for instance, a greeting card could take me, the imagery for the greeting card could take me a week to create. Now, I didn't want to put that cost on a client, and I want to be able to own my own artwork. So the Lord inspired me with the idea of putting my very best talent and skills and everything into creating the best artwork I can. Then I put that onto a card, and so anyone at any level of business, whether it's someone who's just a startup and they want just to having something that's pertinent to them in their field or whatever, they could come and choose 50 cards or something like that, and buy that, and it'll just be straight, that's what you buy. Then I have another level up where you can take any one of my cards and you can customize it to you personally. So you can even change the text on the front of the card and put your logo and all your personal details and salutation, everything in there. And then you've got the total personalization, where I personally create for you, that represents your unique business and everything like that. So I have these three packages, and the majority of people who I've sold to kind of want the game changer planet, which is the take the imagery I have and then customize it to their business.
Have you sold any of the other packages?
Yes, I have. In fact, I've sold a few of, I say a couple, 2, 3 of the influential, which is the total personalization. In fact, I've taken how I've dealt with people in the past and created these packages from that. So I meet people in networking groups who like, they just need some cards, and there's not a lot out there. There's not a lot of cards out there that are pertaining to perhaps business itself. There's a lot of generic, thank yous and sort of thing, but I had one person pull me aside and I said, look, I want to do a thank you. I'm an accountant, and I only found this card, and they showed me a card, and I thought, wow, this could be something. So I've stemmed all my work from, moved into this world of, meeting people in their businesses, and then what are the things that they're saying, what do they need to, what do they want to say, and then put it into cards. So I still feel like at the beginning of it, but it's yes. So I've sold half to men, half to women, so it's like an even amount of men and women buying. And I mean, it's not prolific because it's still getting off the ground, but usually when I meet people in networking groups, they become quite interested and they like to hear me speak. Are they interested in my business because it's a bit different from what they used to? And
okay, so it sounds like you have a pretty cool business model. You have the skill, you have the understanding of what it takes to get a yes. What's stopping you?
I'm really not quite sure what's stopping me other than myself. I'm motivated all the time. Like, I'm a bit of an oxymoron sometimes. Like, I'm always thinking about work. I'm always doing something. I do get stumped. On thinking if the formula that I'm using or I'm thinking about is the right one. Will this work? I do get stuck into that. And I'm someone who will stop dead in my tracks if I'm scared. Until I realize that I'm scared, which I've only just realized in the last week or so, and that helps me move out forward again. It's like, oh, I'm scared. Oh, well, that's like I'll self-talk into negative, and then I self-talk into positive, and then I connect, and then I start connecting properly with the Lord. So, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to say what I'm saying? So he gives me content. He gives me ideas and inspiration. And I think I get a bit afraid of the big picture. Like even though I may see something, it's like, am I heading in the right direction? Am I climbing up the right ladder at this point? Am I saying what I need to say? I think I've come to a new place. I'm supposed to be marketing myself, and I've never really marketed myself like in a conscious way before. It took me all of last year to perfect where I'm at the moment with my packages. It literally took me the year to think it through and process it and think, is this the right formula, and is this how I can do this, and it works really well for me, and I can see that moving into a different type of, like an easier forum for my clients to use it as a pick and choose situation. But later on, how do I talk to, like I can go to networking meetings. I have never advertised myself, and this is a new era, you know, and whew.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah, because, and I'm saying all that, and then I'm hearing, like every now and again I'll do something and I'll ask people to look at my website and give me some advice, and then sometimes they might give me too much advice, and it's like, oh, I've done all this work, I work 12-hour days, whatever, you know, like for short stints, and it's still not right on the money yet. Oh, brother.
Let me ask you this. How many conversations in the last week have you had? And by conversations, I mean, you know, either networking conversations or sales calls or...
None. None.
Okay.
None this last week, no.
How about this month?
I haven't had any. Oh, actually, last February I attempted something, and I asked my first referral, and got a testimony of a client. He happily has given me a referral and will give me some more, and the referrals to his wife's business, who she works for, and that's exciting. So that's what I'm doing right now, is preparing to talk with her. I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous about it because I did that last time and it got shot down immediately, and it's like, oh shoot. And so I'm nervous about it because I'm like, I don't want to over talk, you know, like I'm introducing myself by email. Like I've got a good rapport with her husband.
Let me ask you this. What is it that you really want? So let's say, you know, a year from now, financially, you're doing pretty good. You know, you're not stressing. You can pay your bills. You can go on vacation. Like it's solid. You have great number of clients coming in. You love working with them, and everything is fine in your business. What then?
Oh wow, what then? Well, I want to speak, and I want to encourage, and I want to give of myself freely. I want to write a book. I want to mentor people in my business. That's what I want to do, and I know that's been something that's been there a long time.
I'm going to ask you a challenging question.
Okay.
What else?
I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I live an interesting lifestyle at the moment, and I'd love to be able to continue that. Like there's some personal things I'd like. Like I have literally been traveling this is my sixth year, and I go somewhere and I spend a few months and go somewhere else, and I travel the world, parts of the world. I want to be able to look after my family. It's it's a bit like daunting to think bigger scale, because there's aspects of my heart and my desire to be of service to God that takes me gives me pictures of grandeur, you know, pictures of being useful worldwide and being an influencer worldwide.
In regards to what? Like, how would you want to influence people?
My first reaction is to encourage them to think outside the box, to get to know who they are, and to enhance the gifts that God's given them. And to take, I had these pictures of taking people out of their taking young people on service trips. When I was in the States and doing volunteer work over there with you know, like I created a different system to volunteering than what was out there in my circle.
Mm-hmm.
In my circle, you know, you apply to go to the mission field, and they pay you a stipend, you know, just the whole mission thing, and then they totally suck everything out of you for the duration you're there for. And I'm thinking, this is not working. This is not a great model. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great to be able to creatively take a team in somewhere and you know, totally design bomb their ministry.
So let me ask you, how many places have you traveled?
Thailand. I spent a year in Thailand. I go to a place for a year, so I've been to Thailand. I've been to the States for 2 years. Australia. I spent a year in New Zealand, and I'm spending this year in New Zealand. In the past, I've been to England and Japan, and I've had a couple of small things in Cambodia and Malaysia and Laos. So they're the only places I've been to.
So that's 5?
Yeah, 5 or 6, yeah.
6? When you're in a sales conversation, when you're talking about what you do you talk about why you do it?
No, I don't think I did. It depends. If you get me on a one-on-one, I'm more likely to talk about. I talk quite a lot about my purpose and everything like that. But not in a. Oh, hang on. The email I wrote out, I mentioned my why. But no. Not as a. I haven't stood up in a networking group and said my why. I've kind of splattered and go, oh, I draw stuff. I was like, oh shoot, and like I ad lib quite well, and I think, you know, I remember one B&I meeting. I'm sitting there and I'm doodling, and at the time I'm thinking about, I need to draw some trams for a client, you know, or an idea that I had to produce work for a client. And so I'm drawing trams, and I'm looking at the men around me thinking, oh, they've got some nice craggy features on their face and a big gnarly moustache. So I just drew those into it. And I didn't realize, but everyone's like, what's she doing? What's she drawing? And they all wanted to see my work. And then one of the best advertising you could have done for yourself, because I got work from that, you know. And I'd go to network meetings and I'd doodle the person in front of me, and then I'd turn it into a cartoon and then give it to them as a gift, and then I got work from that. So I made it into a card for the lady, and it's like, oh, this is something, because people aren't illustrators, and they, you know, like, they don't get illustrators.
So
so much in
I,
networking
I
groups.
asked you earlier, tell me a little bit about your business. And this is what you told me. You said, I create business themed greeting cards and I sell those to businesses.
Yeah.
That's what you said. And I added the because I wrote that down. You said I
Yeah.
create business themed greeting cards. Here's the
Oh,
reality, Tanya. You don't create business themed greeting cards. That might be the avenue or the channel you use, but what you do is you create an experience for businesses where these businesses can take a hold of your greeting cards. And you tell me, what is the result? Like, what do they get to do with these greeting cards?
they get to share, they get to create meaningful conversations with their clients. They get to build relationships. They get
Hmm.
they get the opportunity they they get the opportunity to have their clients call them.
Wow.
I threw that in there. I was like, it's interesting because I was saying to someone, I bet you they'll call them. And then last Christmas, I did some illustration for a business and illustrated their staff members and put their faces onto work that I'd already done. So it was kind of like a Kiwiana card that had all their faces on the different, whatever in the card. And they rang me. When I saw them at the next meeting, the owner of the business said to me, "We had clients call us telling us it was just an amazing card." I went, I knew that one.
So you don't sell business themed greeting cards, Tanya. What you do is you can guarantee that because of your work, clients will call the business instead of, excuse me, the business having to worry about whether or not they're continually nurturing that relationship with their client. And here's the reality: a client or a customer, the long-term view of a client or a customer is worth thousands. So sure, a client might buy one or two things each month, but in the long run, right? Like if that person is on a $2,000 contract with this business and they are calling this business, that business is going to feel really, really good about their relationship with that client, right? Because of
Yeah.
what you do. And I hear this all the time when I ask, so what do you do? I immediately hear the work that they do.
Yes, when I said that, I went, oh my goodness, I've just told you exactly what I do.
Not the result or the benefit of your work. Right? I am not a coach. I change lives. I change lives by coaching people. There's a transformation that takes place. There's a clear before and after with every single one of my clients. How do I do that? Well, I do that through coaching. I do that through service. I do that through several other channels and avenues and distribution. But what I do is I change people's lives.
Yes.
You guarantee better relations with clients.
Yeah, I do. That's exciting.
So you talked a little bit about the rejection part and the fear of being rejected. And guess what? We all fear that. Every human being on the face of the planet has the fear of getting rejected until they don't. And the only way to get over rejection is to numb yourself from rejection because you've had it so much. This is what I mean. Last year, I had 200 of these conversations. I had 200 conversations, and I made an offer at every single 200. And I heard no a lot. I mean, probably, let's see, I had 170 times of the 200 phone calls that I made, that I pursued, I heard no.
Oh,
I made last year just under 6 figures.
really?
But
Hmm.
I heard no. What is that? More than 70% of the time. So many people think, why don't I have any clients? And then I ask, how many offers have you made? How many people have you talked to? And I hear the answer you gave, and it's a very common answer.
Yeah.
I haven't made any.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm just gearing into that myself, and I realized that I don't know why I heard it, but only recently I heard the, well, how many have you done? How many have you written? How many people have you emailed and spoken to? I thought, oh my goodness, I've done nothing. Let's get out there and do that. So I'm in that
And guess
space.
what? That was without a website.
Really?
Sure, a website is fantastic because that's a platform where you can showcase case studies, you can add incredibly tremendous amounts of value, you can build an email list. I mean, there's so much that goes on to digital world, but most of the time people just get really overwhelmed because
Yeah.
of how much work there is, and then they just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Tanya, every opportunity and every sale you will ever have exists on the other side of a conversation. Every opportunity and every sale you will ever have lies on the other side of a conversation. So if you want more sales, it means having more conversations.
Yeah. It makes so much sense.
I used to be incredibly afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
And then somebody told me something. Somebody told me, do it anyways.
Yeah. Okay.
Do it anyways. You're afraid? So what? Do it anyways. Do it while being afraid. And what you're going to realize is your confidence is going to grow, because confidence is a result. It's not a requirement. You don't need confidence to move forward. You just need to move forward. And as you move forward, you'll grow in confidence, because confidence is a result of competence and experience.
Wow. Yeah, no, you're right. It's interesting. I house sit full time, and at the beginning, I used to be so, nervous. Will I get a house sit? Will it ever happen? Will I get it at the right time? And I've been basically back to back house sitting now for 6 years, and I don't even blink an eye when I know that I need a house sit, because the Lord always gives me one. So I hear what you're saying regarding my business. I've needed a pep talk.
Let me ask you, how long have you been in business?
6 years.
Okay. How long have you been utilizing your, kind of promoting your greeting cards?
Um, let's see, I'd be a couple of years, and then develop the packages this last year. So I'm at a new stage again of promoting them as a package.
So this is a new adventure.
A new adventure on the.
You know what new means? New always means mistakes. Always. First time you ride your bike, you're going to fall into a bush. Just kind of the tradition. First
Yeah.
time you go swimming, you're going to hold on as tight as possible to your floaties. The first time you drive your car, you're going to have your parents yelling at you because you're not doing it right.
Yes.
New always means mistakes. So go after the mistakes, because on the other side of those mistakes is success. Because you'll know the most successful people know exactly what not to do.
Yeah.
Because they've done it.
Yeah. That's great. I didn't realize how much I needed a pep talk as well.
You know, and my goal isn't necessarily to, kind of motivate you and pep you. I want to give you a really firm, strategic plan so you know exactly what to do tomorrow.
Oh, yes, please.
So you tell me, what can you do tomorrow that would get you closer to a conversation about your business themed greeting cards? Because if the goal is having more conversations, then everything you do now is simply to get you closer to those conversations.
Yes. Well, I want to email this lady, and which I'm about to do today. I haven't sent out a newsletter this year yet, so that's on my horizon to do as well. I've just moved into a new neighborhood for 2 months, so I'm going to check out any networking opportunities here as well.
What about, and this might be scary, what about walking into some businesses?
Okay. It is scary. Cold calling scary. Well, I haven't never done it really. I mean, I've always been invited, which is a totally different atmosphere.
Simply asking questions. How's your business? What's your client relationships like? I have an amazing guarantee. I'd love to come in and just chat, right? And pursuing those conversations rather than waiting for them to be handed to you.
Okay.
And maybe just a matter of introducing yourself and giving them a greeting card with your name in it that says, "Hi, I'm new to the neighborhood. Would love to have a conversation with you."
That can be done. Yeah, that can be done.
Let me ask you this. What if you had 300 conversations in the next 6 months? Sales conversations where you were promoting what you had to offer. And not just your greeting cards, but everything, because you're incredibly powerful. You're incredibly experienced, and you have such a rich insight from all of your traveling. I mean, what would happen if you had 300 conversations in the next 6 months where you made an offer on every single one, whether that was your greeting cards, whether that was as a graphic designer, whatever the case was?
Well, my business would grow, wouldn't it? I'm made for this, I'm absolutely made for this. Goodness me.
Why do you say that?
Because it's the way the Lord, the gifts He's given me, the personality He's given me, the ideas He's given me, the natural, the way I live my lifestyle. It's so easy to meet people and to talk and to I'm passionate about it. And there's so many different areas I can speak on, you know. Not speak on and such, but like when I'm in a conversation with someone, you know, I can talk about traveling, I can talk about my business, and my business can come into it as a, you know, they like to the see, and I like to show and tell, and
Yeah.
um and then I volunteer, and it's like I met a coach in Canada, and we collaborated for a little while, and I, you know, blessed her, and she's not a Christian, but it's like I realized that like my skill set is really suitable for everybody.
Mm.
And she and I worked fabulously together, and I stayed with her for 2 months, and we worked, and I helped her with her business, she helped me with mine, and getting ideas and working on them, and it was great, that sense of what do you call it, when you're, you know, like you have these ideas and goals, and because someone's there working on her stuff, you make so much more progression forward because that's what you're doing together. So I don't know what my problem is. It's like, you know, I think I do know my problem. I think my problem is that I'm getting caught up in the shoot, I need money now type of thing, and it's stifled me, you know.
You know, where our need is usually where our focus is.
You're so right. It's so true, and that's been the case. My daughter's just gone to university, and it's like, oh boy, everything's costing money, and I've never been in this position. I've never had no one buying off me before, and I've never, like, it took me 3 months to come to the idea of I need financial support from, like, in New Zealand, I'm able to receive a benefit, and it took me 3 months to admit that I needed that. And it basically just gives the smallest amount of buffer between, you know, not eating and breathing, which is terrible, but it gave me a breathing space.
Well, congratulations to your daughter.
Oh, thank you.
Getting into college is not an easy thing, so congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I took her to America with me last year, so she's 23. So it's it's
Awesome.
a little bit of, yeah.
You know, what's really cool about the conversations that you'll have is that not every single person will buy from you.
Yeah.
But there's so much potential for collaboration.
Yes.
And for referrals. We get so caught up in, I have to have the best website, or I need to be on Facebook, or I need to figure out what my packages are. And most of the time it's simply, let me find out what you really need. And if I can help, let me help you. And it's okay to charge, Tanya. It's okay for you to make $1 million. But that means you got to charge. So doing it for free is great if you're asking for like case studies or for referrals or simply, you know, want to get some practice, but it sounds like you're pretty experienced. What I would say is every single time you have a conversation with someone, every single time you're at a networking event, this should be your opening line. Hi, my name is Tanya. I've traveled to 5 different countries over the last 5 years, and I help businesses create the greatest relationship they can have with their customers.
Yeah, I love it.
What kind of attention will that get?
Yes. I've been wondering how I can blend it all together. You know, like speaking about what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. You blend it all together, because what that does is it simply makes you relatable.
Yeah.
It makes you a real person, and it makes you someone who's really interesting.
Yes. I love
And I
that.
would even list it. I've been to 5 countries, the US, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I've learned so much about business. I help businesses through my work build the strongest relationships that they can have with their clients. I would love to talk with every single one of you about how I do that.
Right, what you said. I love it. I'm writing it down. God blimey, that's awesome. And it's true. I'm really popular when I go to meetings, and I'm really popular when I'm overseas, and people want to talk to me. I have been given a gift of creating friendships quickly. Interestingly enough, like the Lord has He moves through everything.
And you know what's amazing? I believe that every single person who's alive today, God has designed it so that we are called for this generation in this time. And what's cool about your skill to build friendships is, you mentioned this a little bit earlier about how we're in a different market, such a different business marketplace. The marketplace has moved from people wanting to be sold to people wanting to build relationship.
Exactly.
We are in a relationship economy.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because so many people are so alone. I'm talking to you right now from across the US. So we have an insane amount of opportunity and access to people. And yet the number one word that comes up time and again when people are pulled is loneliness. And yet you can build relationships, and you were designed that way. So go use that. Like, lean into that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you're not saying anything different from what the Lord has inspired me over the last few years. Especially in this giveaway relationship society as well. And I don't know about the States, but New Zealand is really big on people starting their own businesses. Like a lot of people have little startups, little tiny little sole trader businesses, and it's part of the large part of the economy here. And yet the story is like, I'm even getting sick of the Facebook feeds that talk about the whole I've just made my first 6-figure and you can do it too, and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm so sick of hearing that.
Guess what? I purposely never talk about my income because I'm so sick and tired of how many people say that. And I've had so many conversations. I'm incredibly, I've built a lot of really great relationships with people who are actually making 6 figures. And I've had so many conversations with people who claim to make 6 figures, and their business might make 6 figures, but their costs are high 5 figures. So all they're bringing home that year is maybe $10,000. The whole year. Yeah. So they're saying, I made 6 figures, but their costs are so high, or they're just plain lying that just because that's the thing to do now is,
I know.
So I tell everyone, don't believe it. Yeah. Nobody, and I learned this from Tony Robbins, nobody will give you a step-by-step plan for anything. Do you want to know why?
Why is that?
Because as entrepreneurs, there will never be a step-by-step. There's insane amounts of risk there are no rules when it comes to entrepreneurship. It takes hustle, it takes grind, it takes the hard nitty-gritty work, and it just takes you having to figure it out.
Well, that's good to know, because it's been a huge learning curve, like also exhausting learning, you know, it's like, is this right? but then again, do you know the story of George Mueller?
I don't.
Oh, he was a German missionary to England in the 1850s, and he was converted. He was a real naughty boy, and then he was converted, and he wanted to have a real practical, real experience with God. And in a time when the world was Christian, but it wasn't really, they didn't really believe in the power of God. And so he decided that he would pray, and he asked the Lord, what can I do to prove to the secular society in which I live in, back in the 1850s, that you are who you say you are, that you are real? And basically God inspired him to open an orphanage. And he said, well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do everything without going to man and to do things the world's way. I'm only ever going to ask you for everything he needed. And he was very meticulous. So he wrote everything down. He wrote all his prayers down. He wrote, I need blankets. And so he did this. And over the course of his lifetime, he made millions, because he would just, he took on all these orphanages. The Lord told him to go, okay, you've opened up these buildings, now I want you to go and build. And he had nothing the whole time, but he would just, Lord, I need this amount of money, and he wouldn't step out and do anything until he had the money. He did everything different from how the world would do it, like the common sense business-minded person of the time. And it inspired me so much that I wondered years ago, that experience would be incredible, you know, to think that you can go to you. And I'm getting caught up in my own thinking, because I'm like, I'm getting some money, I want some money. And then the Lord's saying to me last year, he said quite clearly, he said, why don't you ask me for things instead of the money for the things? And I'm like, okay, well, I need a new computer. You know, like it's like I've had this faith experience, and now it feels like I'm either relearning it, or you know how you just unpack you stepped up a step, and it's like, oh, now I have to do it again and press in. But it's and like, okay, believe you said you want me to ask for this, I'm going to ask for my new laptop, and you know, all that stuff. It's like, how do I do business? So I practice it as much as, I mean, I get caught up in, I trip up on myself. I you know, like trying to live in the world but not be of the world as such. But it's like, okay, well, I'm inspired by all these business people. I only heard about Christians and businesses like last year. I'm like, there's got to be, I don't know anyone like me who does sort of like, there's got to be other Christians in business. And I found, I don't know if you know KDE, you know, the Kingdom Driven Entrepreneurs, and and there's you, and there's a couple of others I, you know, just starting to hear.
With Shay Bynes, right?
That's right, Shay Bynes.
Yeah, she's
and
awesome.
I'm totally inspired. And I'm so grateful to, you know, I'm like, how can I do business that honors God while stumbling through my own, you know, my own expectations of worldly wants and needs to, I want to give you everything, Lord. You know? It's like, oh my goodness, you know. And it's I mean, even this conversation has helped in realigning my thoughts, because I've been so stuck in this poo, you know, for a little while.
Yeah. You know, one of the biggest things that will help you succeed is a relationship. And not just the relationships you're making with your clients or potential clients or leads or anything like that, but relationships you're making with people who are doing what you want to be doing. and doing it successfully.
Okay.
So I would even suggest surrounding yourself with people who are going to consistently speak life into you, who are going to consistently encourage you, who are going to consistently say, Tanya, get up, you got this. It's scary, but you need to do it anyways. You feel like you might be rejected. Guess what? You might, or you might not, but you'll never find out until you do it. Who say, Tanya, you are stronger than you think. And God is doing such a powerful work in you that he wants to do a powerful work also through you. And Tanya, don't give up. Continue to persist. Continue to pursue the God dream that you have and change the world.
Yeah, that's what I want and need. I know that I need that, and I definitely want it, especially as I travel, because I'm on my own all the time, which is fine. And the value, that's what I've come to understand, is the value of a faith-based. I got some mentoring from Shay last year, and I understand the value of having someone who's faith-based and coaching. Mind you, that was mentoring. I didn't realize what mentoring was and I thought, no, I need a coach. No, I definitely need it. Like, I loved it. I love that sense of the accountability, and like I really love homework. and I love the pep talk, and I like the challenge. I love that stuff. And having spasmodically worked with a couple of coaches as I've practiced as well, it's kind of like, yeah, really, like I have to have the Lord in it, and my coaches weren't faith-based, so they were very, I was like, oh, you're missing that element that I actually need. So how do you work with people?
We could definitely have that conversation.
Right, yeah.
I want to point out something that you said, and I kind of want to ask you, you know what to do. You have to have the conversations. You have to surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you. You have to have those sales conversations, because without those, you don't make money. So you know what to do. What would happen? What would be possible in the next year, 2, 3 years, if you really pursued it with everything you've got, worked harder than you've ever worked before, and didn't let anything, you stopped at nothing to achieve what you know you're capable of achieving?
So you're asking me what would happen?
What would be possible?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It would go worldwide. It would be, I'd hit New Zealand, then I'd hit Australia, then America, then Canada, and the UK, and it would, and I'd have people work for me in those places, and like it would be big. I'd be getting hiring designers. I'd be going to schools and I'd be like huge influencer. Huge. I mean, it's like I was 12 when a commercial designer spoke to my dad. My dad was on a photo shoot as a bus driver, and he told the commercial artist that his little girl liked to draw, and he was so cool. He said, "Why don't you bring her around to my studio?" He worked at home in the little studio behind his garage, and I went over there one Saturday morning with my folks, and I went, "This is what I want to do," and it was like he basically spoke more to my parents, but I was just, that was the goal, and I've been gung ho ever since. And then I became a Christian when I was 30, and I knew that God had a purpose, And then he spoke to me. I went to my first trip to the States. He spoke to me so clearly, and he gave me this huge dumping of information in a moment, a blink of an eye. And I went, and I'm like, I can't even write it down. Like, it's impossible. But it was like this sort of business. It was like this huge. It was like this business that would have artists working in there, and they'd be like collaborating, and they'd be like, okay, I need a team, we need to go to work with this ministry or this business, and we're going to just bless them and give them everything they need, and for 2 months. And it was like this huge, and we're going to mentor, and we're going to go to high schools and see the artistic kids, and we're going to get them to come in and work with us. You know, it's like this whole big infrastructure, and it was so huge. And then I'm going to be able to travel in a different way around the world, and it's just awesome. So I've got to get off and get out of this place. Oh my goodness.
Let me ask you this. What happens if nothing changes? Nothing.
Oh, so sad.
You don't get the results you want, and 5 years from now, everything is the same.
And then I have to shut up shop and go get a job. You know, it's like, that's disheartening to think about. And I've been tempted to do that, and even now, but I push on. It can't not work. You know, there's a membrane barrier between where I'm at now and it, and what I'm trying to do to take off. It just feels so, I can almost touch it. Like, I can touch it, but I can taste it, but it's like just right, so close. So close. I've been getting my foundation, trying to get my foundation there, and now I'm at that place of, okay, now I need to go speak to people and market and figure that out. And it's like, now I have something to show them and tell them. And
I work with people on their then whats. What I mean by that is,
then what? Yeah.
I don't want to necessarily help you create a successful business, although our work will do that. You will do that. I want to work with you on building a life that's focused on, you have a successful business, then what? What do you really want to do with your life? Because any business coach can help you become profitable. Any good business coach, I should say, could help you figure out your marketing strategy, can help you figure out what you need to say, and, you know, work on that. And we'll do that. But my clients, they have bigger dreams. They have greater desires that they're working towards, and they're going to not allow anything to hold them back. My clients, anybody that I take on as a client, is incredibly driven and is not willing to allow things like laziness, fear, anxiety, or overwhelm stop them from pursuing what God is calling them to pursue. They're powerful Christians, which means that they have a powerful prayer life, or they want to develop one. And they want to allow the Holy Spirit really to work through our messages, through our sessions, through anything that we do together.
Yeah.
My clients aren't afraid of the money. They're willing to ask for high prices.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to say their prices out loud in confidence. And they're willing to move the needle forward on their bottom line. If that sounds like you, then we can, kind of have that conversation. But if it doesn't, then that's okay. I may not be the coach for you.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me.
It resonates with me. I am that person. I am I've got some growing. I'm still, working through this, but that's how I see myself.
Hmm. Do you have a pen and paper around you?
I do.
Okay, I want you to write down 5 words.
Okay.
The first word is mindset. And this is really understanding who you are in Christ, understanding how you work in the marketplace and your role, your divine role in the marketplace as an entrepreneur. This is having the confidence to be able to step out even when you don't know where you're stepping. It's mindset. Second word is strategy. This is knowing exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. The third word is vision, and this is knowing exactly where you're headed, knowing exactly where God is calling you towards. It's the bigger thing that you're working on, the why behind the why, if you will.
Okay.
The third word is skill set, and this is honing in your practice so you are the best of the best, and you can guarantee results.
Okay.
And the last word is time/energy. This is being a protector of who you spend time with and a protector of your energy levels. Knowing that if you're drained, not to overwhelm yourself, and how to gain your energy back so you're ready to have a pep in your step when you move forward.
Okay.
Out of those 5 words, mindset, strategy, vision, skill set, and time or energy, which one most resonates with you? And it could be more than one. It could be all of them. It could be just one.
Mindset and vision. Mindset, who I am in Christ, and my divine role in the marketplace. That's been a drive, a growing drive inside of me. Vision, definitely. Mind you, I've not been able to answer some of your questions of and then what, because I don't have a then what. Like this to me, I mean, for me, it's been this is my vision, and I've at the beginning, like 5 years ago, this was not achievable what I'm doing now. So, I'm inspired by the whole scripture of mind cannot see, mind cannot think of, or vision can't see what the plans I have for you. So it's like, okay, I'm an open book. What do you want me to do? Why don't you give me the vision? Because I think I've had a big one, but it's so big. It's so. I think I'm going there, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I am an expert.
Pardon?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I didn't. I wasn't going to say anything.
Out of those 5 words, I am with those 5 words. That's the context at which our work consists of. I help you through your mindset so that you deal with all of the internal issues and struggles that you're facing for good. I help you with your strategy so you decide and define exactly what you need to do so you can succeed. I help you with your vision so that you can have a greater understanding on where God wants to lead you. I help you with your skill set by challenging you to dig deeper than you've ever dug and to do better work than you've ever created. And I help you with your energy and your time by developing boundaries that are non-negotiable so that you live the life that works for you.
Sounds great.
If you needed a coach, would those 5 things be important to you? Or am I totally kind of off?
No, no, you're not off. you've nailed it.
And I'm asking these questions because, Tanya, whenever I commit to a client, I don't commit short-term. I don't believe in short-term coaching. It works for some, but most of the time, people who want long-term results need long-term coaching. They need someone to be there with them in the challenges and the struggles. Because usually there's a honeymoon moment when I take on a client, and then a little while passes, our work starts getting momentum, and then they come to a challenge. And most coaches end there. They build the momentum and then they stop because they know a challenge and a struggle is about to happen and they don't want to be there for that time. I'm long-term committed to my clients. For example, a client of mine, I just had a conversation with you last night, and she's currently going through an incredibly difficult divorce. She's a very passionate Christian. Her husband isn't, and her husband cheated on her. And I'm her business coach, but I'm a holistic coach. So I don't like to just focus in on one thing. I make sure that I'm involved as deeply as I can for those long-term results, those results that really stick. And so our entire coaching session yesterday revolved around some of the challenges that she was facing. And I told her, this is an incredibly struggling, challenging moment for you, but I want you to know you're not alone. I'm going to be here as you go through this. This isn't going to scare me. I've heard horrible stories from others, and I'm not willing to shrink back or settle for a mediocre coaching relationship. She told me that, and she started crying because she told me nobody has ever told her that they were going to stick by her, that they were proud of her, and that they weren't ashamed of her. And so I say that because I want you to know, if we choose to go through this process, it's a long-term commitment. And I want to go deeper than you've ever gone before. And some people aren't comfortable with that. So you tell me, do you want just kind of a short-term coach, or does this sound like it's perfect for you?
It sounds like it's ideal for me. I like the challenge, and I like someone being there and to build that trust and the actual building with me, supporting me to build.
Well, that excites me, Tanya, because it sounds like you're kind of the perfect client. Now, I know that you have your challenges. I know I'm not perfect and you're not perfect, but it sounds almost as if this is kind of a God thing.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. I've known, I know I need to have support.
This is what coaching looks like with me.
Mm.
It looks like you and I having a conversation like this, incredibly deep, incredibly insightful, incredibly powerful. The first, second, and third week of the month, we can decide on the day, Monday through Friday. We take a break on the fourth, and if there's a fifth week in the month, occasionally there is, we'll also take that week as a break, and we'll get right back into it the first, second, and third week of the next month. We have on the books 1 hour. I usually like to spend as long as it takes for you to get the insight and the confidence and the need that you have for that to get fulfilled. And so, like last night, I spent maybe a 2-hour conversation with someone who's already a client. Usually we spend about 45 minutes, but I knew she needed just some additional time just to talk and to chat, because I have a long-term relationship with my clients. I make myself as available as possible. And so if it works with both of our schedules. You join a accountability group that I also have called Growth Buddies. Right now, one of the groups that I probably have you in has 17 other Christian entrepreneurs that you would have a conversation with every other week. And they would simply be there to root you on, to encourage you, to support you, to push you, and simply be another Christian in your life who is in the same trenches as you are, having some of the same challenges so that you can see that you're not alone. One of the biggest challenges entrepreneurs face is they're not lonely because there's people around them, but they feel so alone because nobody understands them.
Yeah.
And so Growth Buddies, which is the accountability group that you would join, in addition to my one-on-one coaching with you, would be the accountability system that you put in place so that you can have a conversation with other like-minded Christian entrepreneurs.
Okay.
On top of that, every single session would be recorded. You and I would, there's some nitty-gritties that we can go through, but the real thing that I like to almost pride myself in is this idea that I am in a long-term, consistent relationship with my clients, and that I show up, we pray, and we allow God to do what he needs to do. The Bible's very clear, when two or more are in his midst, there he is. Yeah. And so I believe that God has been very present in this conversation and will continue to be present in our conversations. All of that, on top of all of the videos recorded and everything like that, the shortest amount of commitment that I accept from my clients is 7 months. 7 months of coaching. Okay. The next tier, if you will, is 12 months. And the next tier is 2 years. That's a long time.
It is.
Most people don't go with the 2 years. I've had maybe one person commit to the 2 years. Most people go with the 7 months or the 12 months. Mm-hmm. But I make that available just in case people know, like, I need this and I don't, I know that I know that I know. So for 7 months, you and I have incredibly powerful conversations that challenge you to move forward. All of that for $349 a month. And of course, all of the Growth Buddies that most people join, they pay like $30 a month for that. That would be included. All the recordings, everything else, everything would be included in the process.
Did you say $349?
Yes, $349.
For a month?
Per month, yes.
Wow, cool. That's cool. So, cool. And so that's the meeting three times and conversation 3 times.
3 times, yeah. I'm
Okay.
curious, what happened?
Eh?
You just said, oh, that's really cool. I'm curious.
Oh no. Okay. The curious is that I have worked a couple of times with a coach here, and she'll charge me 220 bucks for each session, and so we have this deal of I will have a session with her when I have the money. So and and so and I was not expecting you to say that. I thought it'd be like, you know, thousands of dollars, and I'm like, I'm being okay, what's he gonna say? So it's like, oh, that's, and I know it's American, so it's like, you know, change the exchange rate, but it's like, oh, that's more doable than I anticipated.
You know, I have been told by several people, you need to charge at least minimum $2,000 a month for one-on-one coaching.
Mm.
Because of the case studies that I have, because of the experience that I have and the relationships I've built. I've worked with people like Gary Vaynerchuk, Damon John, the black guy from Shark Tank, Ryan Dice from Digital Marketer, Michael Stelzner from Social Media Marketing World. I mean, a host of amazing influencers. And every single time I have a conversation with them, they always tell me, Sean, you need to raise your prices.
Yeah.
And the one person who hasn't told me that is God.
Right.
And so I am in obedience to him, even though I'm technically underpricing myself. I am in complete obedience to him through my one-on-one coaching, because honestly, my one-on-one coaching isn't my moneymaker.
Oh, really?
My moneymaker is elsewhere when I do consulting work with some of these large Fortune 500 companies.
Oh, really?
I do one-on-one coaching because I believe that my role in the marketplace is to empower Christian entrepreneurs to step up so that God can show up. That as they put their hustle, God uses his holiness to give you grace that covers your grind and gives you the ability to live a very purposeful, prosperous life. I am called to empower Christian entrepreneurs because nobody else is. Very few are. Very few
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
I make myself as available and affordable as possible.
that's awesome.
What we can do is I start as soon as you make your first payment.
Mm-hmm.
We could even open up your calendar and set the very first orientation day coaching session right now, if you'd like.
Mm-hmm. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
That sounds really good. I'm needing to earn some cash. It's like, right, I gotta go and do some work so I can pay. But I actually like the idea. So
Let's do this.
okay.
I'd love for you to pray. We'll end our conversation today, and I want you to take some time to pray about it, to go over your notes, to simply sit and let God speak to you. And if God gives you the okay, I'm going to pray about it too.
Okay.
Then he's going to make the way, right? If it's God's will, it's God's bill. And he will give you the clients that you need. He will bring in the cash. He will do what he has to do so that you can do what you have to do. And I'm going to believe that the cash is going to be made available to you so that you can get started. So let's do this. Let's pray. And then let's set up a time where we can just reconnect. How does that sound?
Okay. That's good. Would you like me to pray? And you pray, or you pray?
What we'll do is I'm actually going to open up my calendar, and then let's go ahead and just make some time to reconnect, say in about a week or two.
All right. About 2 weeks from now.
How does Wednesday the 15th sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's go ahead and what time did we start today? 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock, which is
My
my
time.
10. So it's 10 a.m. for me.
Can you do, let's see. Can you do 11 or 10:30 a.m. my time?
Let me just find out what time that is. Hang on.
10:30 a.m. my time.
Which is Pacific. You're in California, right?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so 10:30, you say?
Mm-hmm.
11 a.m. Your time is my 8 a.m. So I could do that.
Okay, so let me see. How does, I don't want to rush. How does 2:30 sound my time?
2:30 is, yeah, that's fine. 2:30 is 11:30 for me.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to put you in. Now, have I been saying your name right, Tanya?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. I didn't know if there was a more cultural way to say
Oh,
it.
no, it's fine. I think here they call me, it's pronounced Tanya. In Australia, it's Tanya. And in America, it's Tanya. So it really doesn't matter. I don't mind. So
Tanya.
was that 11:30, did you say, for me? Or did I
I put 2:30 p.m. PST for me.
PST, which is 11:30 for me? Yep, cool. And that's the 15th. Oh, therefore, it'll be the 16th for me.
You're ahead of me.
Yes.
So it is Thursday for you today.
Yes, it is.
That's so weird. It's Wednesday for me.
I know. I'm in the future.
I know, they're so crazy.
Cool. Booked you in.
Awesome. So what we'll do is we will reconnect on the same Zoom room. So go ahead and save the settings and save the link. And I'm excited.
Cool. I'm grateful.
Those conversations. Go out, make money. I believe you're going to be able to do it. And we will reconnect on the 15th.
I look forward to it, Sean. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Tanya, I'm going to ask you to close us in prayer.
Okay. Father in heaven, Lord, I'm so grateful for the direction and purpose that you've placed in front of me today. I'm thankful for the conversation that Sean and I have shared with one another. I'm grateful for how you have a plan to lead and to guide and to support. I'm grateful, Father, for the gifts and talents that you've given both of us. As you expand my my heart and my awareness and my even the gumption to go out and do the things that you asked me to do. Thank you so much for the encouragement that you've given me through Sean today. Thank you for his business and his attitude of service and his heart to connect with you so he can really be of practical service. That is my heart too, Father. And I just want to tell you and invite you to show me the path, show me what it is you want me to do. I'm so sorry that I've allowed the frontlets of my eyes to be blinded for a little while now, and I'm so grateful that you've expanded my awareness. You've given me some understanding. You're giving me that hope again. So, Father, as we go about our week, we go about the next couple of weeks, as I prayerfully seek you and for the support that I want, two, that I need. You are with it. I love the caption that Sean said, if it's God's will, it's God's bill. I'll take that with me as I speak with you further. So thank you, Father. Thank you for this time. Thank you for the encouragement that I've received. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Hannah, Tanya, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it, and I'm so thankful that God connected us.
Me too. Thanks, Sean. And I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
All right. You have a great day.
Thank you. I look forward to recording.